Hello everyone and welcome to the 2025 Tom Hendry Awards. My name is Nancy Morgan and I have the privilege of being the Executive Director of the Playwrights Guild of Canada. The Playwrights Guild is situated in Toronto, and when we think about this unceded and sacred space, we think about what brought us here, what we're doing now, and where we're going to go, which is something that I think that our members as artists do far more eloquently than I just described. What I want to say overall is thank you. Thank you for being members of the Playwright Guild. Thank you for submitting your work. Thank you for creating, and thank you for joining us tonight. We are honored that we had peer assessors who read this exciting new work and have submitted their suggestions for us to celebrate here tonight. So without further ado, enjoy the rest of our evening. Thank you.
Okay, so now you're going to take antidepressants because I'm not.
I think our relationship works better when at least one of us is on antidepressants.
Hello, my name is Cole Haley and I'm a writer and playwright based in Newfoundland and Labrador, and I won the 2023 Tom Hendry Emerging Playwrights Award for my play, The Thin Place. Since winning the Tom Hendry, The Thin Place has gone on to have a little bit of a life, which has been awesome. It just premiered at Rising Tide Theatre in Trinity, which is a really cool full circle moment for that play because it's all about rural Newfoundland, and also I grew up really close to Trinity, so it was a big dream come true moment for me. And you know, speaking of dreams coming true moments, I don't think there has been a bigger one thus far in my career than winning the Tom Hendry a couple years ago. I don't think it's still fully hit me yet, but being nominated was a dream come true. I'm very grateful for everything that's come since. I had a lovely mentorship with Daniel McIver, who's somebody I've always been very much respected and loved his work. So just being able to talk to Daniel and being a sponge in our conversations is something I'm eternally grateful for. It's also opened so many doors and given me so many other opportunities. But I think the biggest thing that winning the Tom Hendry has done for me personally is it gave me a kind of a sense of confidence in that I'm on the right path and that what I'm doing is what I should be doing. And when I was just leaving theater school and being thrusted out to the real world, that was something that I deeply needed. So I'm very grateful for that. And good luck to everybody who's nominated.
Hi, this is Jesse Levercombe, RBC Emerging Artist winner of 2019 for my play Hallelujah, It's Holly. And Nick Bione was my mentor. And if you ever get the chance to be mentored by Nick Bione, I would highly recommend it, because he read so many drafts of my play, and I don't really think the play made any sense, but he was really nice about it and taught me so much about how to make things make more sense. And because of that, I'm forever grateful to him and this award that allowed us to have this exchange. It was awesome. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, my name is Zahida Rahmatullah, and I received the RBC Emerging Playwright Award in 2021 for my play The Frontliners. My favorite part of the award was definitely the chance to work with Carmen Aguirre, who's a playwright I had looked up to for many, many years prior, whose shows I had been going to, and now through the gift of the award had a chance not only to have her read my plays that I had in development, but to talk to her about her own path in theater and in life, and the obstacles she had to overcome, the wonders of being in this industry, her stories as an emerging playwright once upon a time herself. And I think the rare gift of this award is not only that it brings attention and awareness to the work of new writers in Canadian theatre, it also brings emerging and established playwrights into conversation with each other, which I think is something that doesn't happen often and is an exchange that I continue years later to draw inspiration from.
Hi, good evening. My name is Mercedes Isessa Clooney, and I was the 2024 RBC Emerging Playwright Award winner for my play Gringas. And I'm here today to present the 2025 RBC Emerging Playwright Award. This award is such an important opportunity for theater creators in our country. It provides the next generation of playwrights the chance to receive recognition and support for their work, both through mentorship and compensation, something that a lot of established writers may take for granted. I was lucky to receive this award at a time in my life full of uncertainty, insecurity, and major artistic questions, such as, am I good enough? Does my voice matter? What stories are worth telling? And if you too are a writer, I'm sure that you've experienced some of these big questions as well. And throughout this year, through my PGC-led mentorship with Keith Barker and my own personal development, I realized that it is not whether a play is good enough to be written, but that the story exists at all. And the story cannot exist if it is not touched to paper. The playwrights in this category have all achieved something miraculous that so many writers and artists do not. They have finished a play. Maybe their first play, and for that they should all be celebrated. Thank you for having the bravery and dedication to share your stories with the world. You are the future of theater. The Playwrights Guild of Canada would like to thank the RBC Emerging Artist Project for their continued support of emerging playwrights and new work. The recipient of this award receives $2,500 and a 6-month mentorship. Second place receives $1,500, and third place receives $1,000. PGC would like to thank the RBC Emerging Playwright Award jury, which consists of Susie Martin, Rebecca Cuddy, and Michaela de Cesare. The shortlisted plays are Syncopation on Raleigh Street by Trisha Harlan, The Shivers by Tracy Hoyt, and Baby by Iris Rion. The jury said, Syncopation on Raleigh Street is a large, bold, creative, and theatrically engaging historical piece that weaves exciting musical elements with rich dialogue. The Shivers is a piece with clear vision, tackling complex issues with indelible characters and authentic dialogue. Baby is a poetic and visceral piece with endless possibility of world building for an imaginative staging. And the RBC Emerging Playwright Award goes to Syncopation on Raleigh Street by Trisha Harlan. Congratulations. The second place award goes to The Shivers by Tracy Hoyt, and the third place award goes to Baby by Iris Rion. Congratulations to all. Have a great night and keep on writing. Woohoo! Tom Hendry.
PGC, what an honor it is to be the recipient of this award. I'd like to thank the Ontario Arts Council and the Canada Council for the Arts for their support during the various stages of researching, writing, and rewriting this play. I'd like to thank my family and friends who are always rooting for me and always telling me that I'm more impressive than I may sometimes feel. I'd like to thank everybody involved with Expect Theatre Play Muse 2024 Playwrights Unit, where a chunk of this play was written. Your feedback and support was so invaluable. And finally, I would like to thank and give a sincere congratulations to the other 2 nominees. Thank you for creating such beautiful art.
It would be appropriation for me to serve Chinese food here, don't you think?
Yes, it would be appropriate.
My name is Sophia. Theater has always been a constant in my life, something steady in a world that's always changing. But what I love most is that even though it's constant, it's never the same. Every show brings new people, new stories, and moments that can't be repeated. When I'm part of a production, I know we're in it together, each person bringing their own skill and heart. Those individual efforts merge into something greater than any one of us. The world often highlights our differences, our opinions, our faults, the things that divide us. But in theater, we learn to listen, to trust, and to create together. It reminds me of Come From Away, strangers from different worlds who turned crisis into connection. That story, written by two Canadians about Canadians, reminds me that we have it in us, on stage or off. We can still choose to see each other fully and work together to tell a better story. That's why I love theater.
I'm Leland, and I want to tell you why I'm so passionate about theater. Being involved with theater opens up your world to so many amazing and exciting opportunities. When I go to shows and performances, I can immerse myself in the drama, music, and magic that's going on all around me. And once you are involved in theater, you gain such an appreciation of what it takes to bring a show to life. When I'm on stage acting, I feel like I've been given a chance to actually become another person, to bring a life to a character or story that was created by another storyteller. If there was ever a Canadian production that had an impact on me, I would have to say it was Come From Away. I saw this show when it came to London, and knowing that it was written and produced by Canadians makes me very proud of Canada's theatre industry.
Hello, my name is Aya, and to me, theater is a way to step into a world different from our own. It is a way to escape into something extraordinary. Sometimes when life is stressful and overbearing, we need to take a step back and rest. I find theater is a way to do that. When we enter a theater space, we experience a story. And from this, we become invested in something other than our own lives. We take a step back from our world and enter a new one that is truly magical.
Hi, my name is Quinton. I love theater because it is able to bring people together to tell stories that matter. Being involved in theater has helped me appreciate how much dedication and teamwork goes into every performance. Whether performing or working backstage, you become part of something special that creates memories lasting a lifetime. Theater has also helped me discover who I am and what career path I want to take. It gives me a sense of purpose, creativity, and belonging. A Canadian show that really inspired me is Come From Away. It shows how Canadians came together with compassion and resilience following 9/11. It reminds me of how powerful storytelling can be and how theater can shape who we are. This is why I love theater.
My name is Solange, and I've been going to the theater since before I can remember. I think that there's nothing that compares to watching an actor rely on millions of people's lived experiences, their personalities, their characteristics, and to form it into a character. It's the most special thing on earth. It's a book, but with human connection. It's a story that's driven by your empathy towards other humans. It's amazing. And performing, it feels like flying. It's the ultimate adrenaline rush. It's all of the excitement and the nerves and the high energy all at once. It's incredible. The most recent Canadian play that I've seen, and the one that stuck with me the most, would be the Stratford Festival's production of Forgiveness. I've never seen a play that can stick with me that long. I walked out of the theater and I was like, I'm going to be thinking about that for weeks.
Hi, my name is Morgan, and I love theater because there is absolutely nothing like the magic of live performance, specifically live instrumentals combined with live vocals. Theater has been a part of my life for years, and many of my happiest memories involve theater in one way or another. Watching and participating in theater has impacted me as a young person in a way no other form of art could. I'm planning on pursuing theater as a career, but even if that doesn't work out, theater will always be a part of my life. I think every person, young and old, should experience one form of theater at least once in their life because it will change you for the better.
Hi, my name is Makambe K. Simamba, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today to present the Rachel Wyatt Theater for Young Audiences Award. I was lucky enough to win the TYA Writing Award last year, and gosh, it makes me so excited to write for young people, and it makes me even more excited to see my fellow grown-ups also continue to dream and scheme and contemplate and speak about and to young folks. So before we get into the nominees and hearing a little bit about what the jury said about each play, I want to start by saying that the Playwrights Guild of Canada would like to thank the estate of Rachel Wyatt for this generous gift. Thank you. PGC would also like to thank the Rachel Wyatt Theatre for Young Audiences Award jury that includes Jan Taylor, the chair, Lily Falk, and Michelle Rimmel. So the shortlisted plays are A Boy, a Horse, and the North Wind by Sean Dixon, Piper by Susanna Fournier, and Blue Beads and Blueberries by Aaron Macklem with original music by Avery Brown. Now here's what the jury had to say about each of these plays. A Boy, a Horse, and the North Wind is a delightful and whimsical adaptation full of poetic dialogue that takes the audience on an adventure. Piper is an imaginative, layered piece that explores contemporary themes using a smart, original structure and theatricality. Blue Beads and Blueberries is an authentic and engaging story that weaves old and new storytelling and connection for all audiences. And the Rachel Wyatt Theatre for Young Audiences Award goes to Piper by Susanna Fournier. Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations.
Hi, this is so exciting. I'm truly thrilled by this honor. I'm not going to tell you how many times I've tried to record this video as an improv before realizing that no, as a writer, drafts are good and I need them. So on draft number, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you to Playwrights Guild of Canada for everything that you do to support Canadian playwrights. I want to thank the Tom Hendry Awards, and I want to thank the selection panel for reading all of these plays. And mostly, I want to thank all of the playwrights. The ones who are nominated tonight, the ones who are not nominated, the ones who've never been nominated, the ones who haven't finished a play, the ones who are at home right now desperately trying to solve some sort of character problem or formal shift, or take out those stage directions you don't need. Playwriting is incredibly joyous, incredibly miraculous, and incredibly impossible at times. It can feel so lonely. So to come together and to celebrate playwriting is really special. Piper is an incredibly important play to me. It is my first TUIA project, and it reinvigorated my love of theater and humbled me once again to the power of what theater can do. I got to spend 2 years developing this play with high school students, hearing about what they care about, what they're concerned about, and what matters to them. And to put that all into a play, Piper, about tech, about connection, about attention spans, about anxiety, was incredibly special. Thank you.
But it's the action that counts. The repetition of the act of theater, which is a mirror of so much of life. People meet in a space and we do our best, and what happens is what happens. The present is all that counts. Something in our deep genetic code understands and respects theater like no other art form because we recognize ourselves in its construction. We're not novels or movies. We won't last. We will all die. We know this. And the play will end. We know this too. Without thinking, we accept and appreciate the basic truth of theater's imperfection and impermanence, and in doing so, we achieve some measure of forgiveness for our own.
They call it justice being dull, to leave me broke as I grow old. I guess my fate is now foretold. Unless there is a way I can make them the ones who pay. Is it too late to change my play? To change my play. I won't won't be beat by this not-so-sweet regime. Time to find a new kind of justice scheme. If I only had those barrels back that they locked up in their vault, that way I could pay the fine and finally end this assault. There's one possibility I haven't tried. The only path I see if the judge won't take my side. It's not just the money, it's also my pride. And really, how hard can it be to break inside? I'll take some liquid gold, dream a scheme that's bold. They say two wrongs don't make a right, but this time it might. This time it might. This time it might.
That's one hell of a horseshoe you've got up your ass.
Oh, hello there. I'm beloved dramatic Canadian stage actor Craig Lauzon, and I'm here to present the Comedy Award for 2025. Now, you're probably asking yourselves, what in the blazes is beloved dramatic actor Craig Lauzon doing presenting an award for comedy? Well, what most of you probably don't know is that before becoming a beloved dramatic actor, I had an illustrious career as a comedy writer, performer on television. Shh, but that doesn't leave this room, okay? The ADs, they don't know that it's the same guy. But in doing so, I became a lover, a champion, a student, if you will, of comedy, specifically Canadian comedy. You can YouTube some of the stuff. Some of it's pretty good. Canada has a rich, deep history in comedy, always has, both with performers and writers. For who is the performer without the writer? The theater. The theater is what brings us here today. It's why I'm standing before you like a dagger. Funny theater, to be exact. The 2025 Comedy Award is made possible through the generous gift of a donor. Playwrights Guild is so grateful to have the support of individuals who believe in Canadian creators. The PGC would like to thank the Comedy Award jury as well. Kevin Loring, the chair, personal friend, no big deal. Natasha McClellan and Zahida Rahimtullah. The shortlisted plays are Cohen by Damien Atkins, Home Deliveries by Catherine Légère, translator Liana Brody, adapted from the screenplay by Marie-Josée Raymond and Claude Fournier, and Aging Youth Gang by Norman Young. Cohen is an existential comedy that is imaginative, thought-provoking, with nuanced commentary on the theater, midlife, aging parents, and the search for connection in a world of distraction and noise. Home Deliveries is a comedy about modern relationships in a disconnected, transactional world with quirky women, snappy dialogue, and a unique theatricality. Aging Youth Gang is a hilarious piece with strong intergenerational characters, rich relationships, a meaningful story about community, tradition, and learning to accept that change is inevitable. And the Comedy Award goes to Home Deliveries by Catherine Légère, translated by Liana Brody. Congratulations!
Thank you so much to the Playwrights Guild of Canada and the jury for this honor. This is amazing. I would also like to thank Marie-Josée Raymond and the late Claude Fournier, who trusted me and gave me the unique chance to freely adapt Deux Femmes en Or, a bold, funny, and unapologetic movie from the 70s about women's sexuality.
I fell hard for this play. It's a freewheeling, modern reimagination that keeps the basic structure of the 1970s movie. Two bored housewives seduce a string of lovers whom they entice into their suburban homes. But in Catherine's hands, it becomes a modern, intelligent, hilarious, outrageous feminist tale of women yearning for freedom that is also a high-octane hymn to the female libido. Thank you to Diane Brown and Ruby Slippers Theatre for commissioning my translation and co-producing the premiere with the United Players at Sarah Rogers Jericho Arts Centre in Vancouver, and to the entire cast and crew. Also, my husband, Giovanni C., for being my first reader and my rock. This is my third time translating Catherine, and she's as giving a collaborator as she is a brilliant comic writer.
Thank you, Liana, and thank you for your generosity and for caring so much and making so many beautiful things happen like this. Again, this is amazing.
Thank you.
I just think your world could be so much bigger than 5 acres.
Hi everyone, my name is Amiel Gladstone. I'm the Director of Theatre Arts here at the Banff Centre for Arts and Creativity. And I first of all want to say what an outstanding crop of plays were submitted to the Tom Hendrys this year. It's really exciting to see where playwriting is in this country right now. And the recipient of the spot in the Banff Centre Playwrights Lab 2026, I'm pleased to announce, is Susanna Fournier with the play Piper. Congratulations, Susanna.
You want me to seek my redemption, but I will not beg you for it. Would it be glory earned or a pitiful attempt to satisfy your guilt?
Hello. It is my distinct honor to announce PGC's recipient of the 2025 Lifetime Member Award. This person has been a huge influence on my theater career. Back in the early days of the early 80s, things were pretty bleak, and I was contemplating quitting, as my mother had suggested, over and over and over again. But then came along this person, a few years older than me, and she took control of her career. She wrote and performed in a successful touring solo show, a huge accomplishment. That show was Africa Solo. Africa Solo's very existence gave me hope that I could have a career. Then came Harlem Duet and The Adventures of a Black Girl in Search of God. Her casts were getting bigger and bigger, a sign of her generosity. She wasn't just writing for herself. She was sharing her success with all of us. She founded the Afro-Canadian Playwrights Festival, creating a new word, Afro-Canadian. Dozens of Black Canadian playwrights got to congregate and to share their work. Her generosity continues as a theater professor on both sides of the border. I could go on forever, but this isn't about me. It's about this year's very worthy Lifetime Member Award winner, the one and only Janet Sears. Congratulations.
Basta ya. I know who I am. We lived in the land where volcanoes sleep, We thought they'd sleep forever in their lonesome heat. But we were wrong, and they woke. They had some things to reap. There were angry men, blood let flow like fire in the streets. And that fire came for us the night they shot Papa in his bus. Mama, she cried. Gunshots filled the sky full of fear. We had to disappear. People on the move, a city on the run. Mierda, it's no better here, just more men with guns.
We are not afraid. Basta, basta ya. Manusala obra. Basta, basta ya.
This volcano's alive.
Obra. Basta, basta ya.
This volcano's awake.
Obra. Basta.
Can you feel the earth tremble? Can you feel the earth shake? Basta ya.
Basta ya. Enough, enough. Basta ya.
Have us disappear. You don't know anything about me.
Basta ya. Basta ya. I'm flying high on heaven's wings. God has graced me and I want my bling. My time has come. I'll get it back. Time to get this country back on track.
Basta ya.
Enough, enough.
Basta ya.
Enough, enough.
Basta ya.
Enough, enough.
Basta ya.
Enough, enough.
I'm tired of waiting, tired of paying, doing what I'm told. Locked in my life on hold. I come from a land where volcanoes sleep. Did you think I'd sleep forever in this lonesome heat? Well, you were wrong, I will not break. I'm strong inside, I'm wide awake. I'm not your slave. I'd rather live than sleep out on the street. Think you can cage us up like I'll disappear? You don't know anything about me. This volcano is alive. This volcano is awake. Can you feel the earth tremble? Can you feel the earth shake? Basta ya, enough, enough.
Basta ya. Enough, enough. Basta ya. Basta ya.
Good evening. I'm Colin Fior, and I'm delighted to be presenting the Tom Hendry Drama Award. As an honorary patron of the Canadian Theatre Museum, I cherish the past, but depend upon the future. All new Canadian work is the foundation of that future. By sharing your stories and having the courage and generosity to allow them to become the stories for all Canadians, you inspire and lead us all. I have every faith that very soon the shelves of the Canadian Theatre Museum will be filled with your works, guiding all those who are committed to new Canadian plays, to what is actually possible. The Playwrights Guild of Canada acknowledges and thanks the National Arts Centre English Theatre for their support in the creation of new Canadian plays through a generous supplement to the 2025 Tom Hendry Award winners' cash prize. This year, the recipient will receive $15,000. The PGC would also like to thank our PGC Drama Award jury, Tetsuro Shigematsu, Chair, Pamela Halstead, and Jamie Robinson. Our shortlisted plays are The Village It Takes by Michael Ross Albert, 21 by Rachel Graton, translator Catherine Turnbull, and To Live and Die by the Paper Route by Sidney Wolfe. The jury said, The Village It Takes is ambitious in its tackling of contemporary themes, with a unique flavor of characters and extremely distinct dialogue. 21 uses powerful language and an intriguing structure to address a pressing yet seldom discussed topic on the stage. To Live and Die by the Paper Route features raw and challenging subject matter in powerful contrast with undeniable poetic artistry. And the Playwrights Guild Drama Award goes to 21 by Rachel Graton, translator Catherine Turnbull. Congratulations.
I'm honored to accept the Drama Award for my translation of 21. First and foremost, I must thank Rachel Graton for trusting me with her beautiful and heartbreaking play. Merci, Rachel. This translation was made possible thanks to the Cole Foundation mentorship for emerging translators, and so to the Cole Foundation and to Playwrights Workshop Montreal, I extend 1,000 thank yous. I would like to give a particular thank you to Sarah and the whole team at PWM for making this process and this project so accessible and flexible to this new mom. I also need to offer a huge thank you to Maureen Labonte, who was my mentor and translation dramaturg on the project. I couldn't have done it without you. I'd like to thank my dad, my mom, my son, my sister, and my husband for being the best sounding boards out there, offering advice, support, and encouragement at every turn. I love you all. Lastly, thank you to Playwrights Guild of Canada and the Drama Award peer assessment panelists. What a thrill. Congratulations to all the nominees and winners. It's a privilege to be counted among you. Thanks.
Greetings to all present at this award ceremony. My name is Ma'an Janisho, and I'm grateful to be here. For the past 3 decades, I've been invited to and have had the privilege to be part of the wonderful world of theater. The musical theater genre has played a big part in my life. I have witnessed how this particular art form can be used as a powerful expression of the human condition. How this form of storytelling can transcend cultural and language barriers through music, and how, ultimately, it can serve as a reminder that we are all connected and intertwined despite taking our various unique paths. An art form that, when delivered with compassion, truth, and love, can live and resonate within the hearts of those that choose to experience it. An art form that can be used to challenge, to reflect, to celebrate, to highlight, to heal different facets of our human consciousness, and encourage deeper connection and perhaps even contribute to our evolution. I am honored to be part of a community that strives to support the creation of new works and encourages the exploration and expression of this form of storytelling. The Playwrights Guild of Canada acknowledges and thanks the Dan School of Drama and Music at Queen's University for their continued support of the creation of new Canadian musicals. PGC would also like to thank the Dan School of Drama and Music Musical Award jury, Kevin Wong, Jamie Bradley, and Crystal Peterson. The shortlisted musicals are Small Gods the Musical, book by Makram Ayash, and music by Landon Doak. Olivia O. the Musical, book by Diane Curry Sam and Jessica Carmona, lyrics by Jessica Carmona, with additional lyrics by Diane Curry Sam, and music by Gil Yaren. And The Great Maple Syrup Heist, book, music, and lyrics by Ellen Denny. The jury said, Small Gods the Musical features a charming cast of young queer characters who navigate relatable issues about identity, friendship, and community. Olivia O. the Musical is a very moving and heartfelt piece with powerful music and compelling characters. The Great Maple Syrup Heist is a hilarious farce with an endearing story that manages to be both suspenseful and loving. And the Dan School of Drama and Music Musical Award goes to Olivia O. the Musical, book by Diane Curry Sam and Jessica Carmona, lyrics by Jessica Carmona with additional lyrics by Diane Curry Sam, and music by Gil Yaren. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Diane Curry Sam, writer and lyricist for Olivia O. the Musical. Along with my co-writer Jessica Carmona, we'd like to thank the Playwrights Guild of Canada for this tremendous honor of being named as a finalist for the 2025 Tom Hendry Award for Best New Musical. In 2017, the world watched as families were torn apart at the U.S.-Mexican border. Children separated from their families, held in detention centers, some were deported, some were shipped to foster homes all across the U.S. Many were lost and separated for months or years. Our musical follows 14-year-old Olivia Ortiz, separated from her mother at the border and then trapped in that same immigration system, and her Aunt Isabel, who fights to bring her home. It's a story about resilience, about community, and about the unbreakable bonds of family. The story has been years in the making. From hauling my laptop to the Terry Fox Library in Port Coquitlam, to table reads in Vancouver, to festival shows in Dallas, Texas, to rewrites and concert readings in New York and Philadelphia and showings back in Vancouver again. It's been a journey for all the creative team. Jessica brought her profound understanding of these communities and their stories, and together we created something that blends English and Spanish, that moves from heartbreak to hope, from rage to radical love. And the response has been powerful. People see themselves in Olivia and Isabel. They see their families, their neighbors, their own fight for justice. But here's the thing, this story is still unfolding in real time. Families are still being separated, communities are still fighting back, and this musical needs to reach more people. It is set in the US, but I profoundly believe it tells a story that has been, unfortunately, played out in countries all over the world, including my home, including Canada. The recognition from the Playwrights Guild of Canada means a lot to me. So thank you again for this incredible honor. Thank you to Jessica for being the perfect creative partner on this journey. And thank you to every family whose story gave us the courage to tell this one. We can't wait to share this musical with the world.
Hello, my name is Dennis Garnham. I'm the former artistic director of the Grand Theatre here in London, Ontario. I happen to be back doing a play, and I'm so grateful to be here because I'm thinking about Geordie Mand and her beautiful play, In 7 Days. In 7 Days came to me through a conversation with Geordie, and I said, what have you been working on? What are you doing? She said, well, I've written this play set in London, Ontario. And I'm like, London, Ontario? Tell me more. This delightful play, this surprising play, the first read, I remember it so clearly. I laughed, I cried, I was like, come on, Geordie, do it. Touching, smart, clever, shocking, surprising, heartfelt, clever, beautiful. I mean, these are all the thoughts that came to me the first time. I'll never forget that first read. How in that first, sitting in my imagination, reading this text on the page, these words made me laugh, they made me cry, and made me hope that she would let us do it at the Grand. So, of course, it was already in production and already in process with the Harold Green Jewish Theatre in Toronto. So I called the fine folks there and said, I know you're already working on it and you've been developing with Phil Aiken, dramaturging and directing it for many years now. We'd love to join. And they very generously let us join and come on board and actually debut it here at the Grand. I had left the theatre by then, but I got to see it in Toronto, and those words on the page were exactly as I imagined them in life. And it was beautiful to hear an audience have that response to a play, a brand new play that was kind of hitting all the marks. How you can tell the delicate story of the choices we make in life and the choices we make in death when we think we may be done, and how that influences people, and wrap it in love, heart, and beauty. I think was astonishing. I became such a fan of Geordie's work through this play, and I'm so grateful that she's been nominated, and I'm so knowing that this is just one of many, 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 many beautiful things that she will create. But if you haven't seen or read In 7 Days, I highly recommend it.
My name is Tom McCamus. I played the role of Arthur Miller in Liana Brody and Giovanni C's play Salesman in China. In the summer of 2023, I was asked to take part in a workshop at the Stratford Festival. It concerned the events surrounding Arthur Miller's trip to Beijing to direct a production of his own play, Death of a Salesman. When I first started to fall in love with acting, I was in theater school working on scenes from All My Sons and Death of a Salesman. It's what I thought acting was about. But in all my years of theater, I have never been in a Miller play. So when I was offered the chance to play him, I was thrilled. The script I was given was in 3 languages, English, Mandarin, and Pinyin, which is Mandarin written in Western characters. Over half the play was spoken in Mandarin. The other actors in the room were from across Canada and many from the other side of the world. I was surrounded by a culture that I knew very little about, much like Miller. The workshop was a success, and we began rehearsing the next summer. From the beginning, it was obvious that Liana and Giovanni knew exactly what they wanted. The more I researched and delved into the character of Miller, I realized how beautifully they had crafted the truth of the man in his words and in his relationships. My particular challenge was to know when to speak, as many of my cues were in Mandarin, a language I did not speak. I would often have to rely on a nod from Adrian, who played Ying Roshang, to tell me he or another actor had finished. My particular joy was to listen to Death of a Salesman performed in that same language by a cast of exquisite actors. Our universal joy was the realization that this play that we had all worked on so hard for so many weeks, so many months, some for many years, was reaching an audience. This love letter to the theater about the beauty of the human spirit was having a great impact on people. I mean, you always hope and believe that what you are working on is good, but it doesn't always end up that way. It doesn't always end up reaching an audience the way that you hoped it would. But this one did, and that has its own special joy. This was an experience I will never forget.
Hi, my name is Ken McKenzie. I was the co-set designer, along with the amazing Sim Souser, on Michael Ross Albert's Bidding War at Crow's Theatre in 2024. initially, in reading that play, as somebody who has sold some property in the Greater Toronto area, it brought back all of the anxiety, all of the fear, all of the elation, all of the feelings of actually being in the midst of that process, which is a nightmare at times, and really hopeful. And it's amazing how much gets tied up in that process. And I think that Michael Ross Albert, first of all, found a terrific thing to write about, but actually really captured something that feels like it is both exciting but also competitive, and it brings out parts of you that maybe you're not super proud of, but you recognize. And so I recognize that in the writing of the play. I recognize that there's a little bit of greed in there. There's a little bit of like, you need to like get one over on people, which I'm not proud of, and I don't think I did, but it's like, it's there, and it makes it challenges some of the parts of ourselves that maybe we're not so proud of. So recognizing that was one of the really great things about reading it. As a scenic designer, when I read it, I was just so frustrated because every other page he was adding a new location. There was like not just a nicely staged house, which is a challenge for a scenic designer on a theater budget anyways, but he kept adding bathrooms, and then there's a kitchen, and then there's a living room, and then they need to be able to go upstairs, and then they need to be able to go downstairs. And then sure enough, the third act is in the backyard. And so how you're actually going to do that on a stage and in a theater without a whole lot of money and without a whole lot of technical complexity is a real creative challenge. But sometimes that can be really exciting. It worked out for us really well. And the thing that I was most excited about that we managed to do for this particular show was that one of us on the production team had this really great idea, and I'll take at least a little bit of responsibility for some of the good ideas, is that we decided that if we could get somebody who actually stages houses for sale to come in and stage our set as though it was being sold, that would be the only way that we could really actually afford all of the really nice furniture that was required to make it look legitimately like somebody was staging this house. And I love that we were able to do that because it felt like we played the system a little bit, right? Like we told them if they did that, we could put their names into the program. It'd be great advertising. The Crows Theater audience, I'm sure, are all homeowners or have property that they'd be willing to sell. So it would get their name out there, and it felt like we played the system just a little bit. And to me, that felt like it was really, really in keeping with what the play was. So it was a joy to work on. It was a joy to see the actors bring that thing to life.
So I'm Mary Collin Chisholm, sometimes a playwright, and
a Gay Hauser, and I live here in Nova Scotia, and I have been involved in writing plays, but never written a whole one by myself.
Not yet. Maybe tomorrow.
Not yet.
So we're here to talk about the impact of Carol Bolt's work and her legacy on Canadian work today.
Carol Bolt was a founding member of the PGC and wrote a variety of plays, including radio and theatre for young audiences.
Her works were adapted for opera, TV, and film. Carol was born in Winnipeg.
And she earned her degree in BC and lived in many places across Canada.
She was a prolific playwright, arts advocate, and a strong proponent of integrating drama into education. Her works often explored historical themes and reflected her understanding of Canadian social history, while also championing women's rights and Canadian nationalism.
Did you ever meet her?
I did, in Australia.
Wow.
And she was fabulous.
Was she?
Yeah. Her presence in the room made you feel like something's happening.
The Playwrights Guild of Canada could not offer the Tom Hendry Awards without sponsors, and is grateful for the multiple organizations that support the Carol Bolt Award for their generous and continued support of the creation of new Canadian work.
PGC would like to thank the Carol Bolt Award jury.
Karen Hines, the chair,
Philip Aiken,
and Robert Sonos.
Now, the shortlisted plays were The Bidding War by Michael Ross Albert,
Salesman in China by Liana Brody and Giovanni C.,
and In 7 Days by Geordie Mand. The assessment panel described the plays thusly.
The Bidding War is an original, entertaining, very funny comedy, slick in the best meaning of the word.
A Salesman in China is an intriguing epic play that sweeps the audience into a highly theatrical experience.
In 7 Days is a beautifully structured piece. It has a fractured musicality in its language that is innovative, emotional, and deeply impactful.
And the Carol Bolt Award goes to
In 7 Days by Geordie Mand.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hi everyone. I'm so deeply honored to accept the Carol Bolt Award for In 7 Days. First, a heartfelt thanks to Playwrights Guild of Canada and to the selection committee for this incredible recognition. Huge congratulations to Michael, Giovanni, Leanna. Your plays moved me so deeply and made me cry with laughter. What a gift it is to be in your company. There's so many people who helped bring In 7 Days to life. The team at the Harold Green Jewish Theatre Company, Avery Saltzman, David Eisner, Matt Berenbaum, thank you for commissioning the play, for producing the play, for believing in me and it every step of the way. To the team at the Grand Theatre who co-produced the show with Harold Green, Dennis Garnham, who programmed In 7 Days as part of his final season at the Grand, and then to Rachel Peake and her team at the Grand, who treated me and the play with such care. To my director and dramaturg, the brilliant Philip Aiken, whose collaboration was an absolute dream. To every actor, artist, designer, and technician who touched the play, from early workshops to closing night. Thank you for bringing your heart, generosity, and talents. To my agent, Ian Arnold, to Glenda McFarlane and everyone at Sirocco Drama for ensuring that the play lives beyond the stage. To Rabbi Deborah Dressler, my religious consultant on the show who added such depth and truth to the process. Finally, to my parents, Jason and Daryl, and to my sweethearts, Marcus and Gila. In 7 Days is about a daughter in her 30s who comes to visit her ailing father who's qualified for maid and has decided to go through with it. The family's Jewish, and in Judaism, maid is highly contentious. And so the story looks at what it means for a child and a family to say goodbye, and what it means for a parent to do what's right for them. This play began from a very personal place, from conversations about love, loss, faith, and choice. It's a story about holding on, letting go, and about how families navigate the impossible while trying to keep love at the center. Thank you for this honor, and for continuing to champion Canadian stories and Canadian plays. I'm truly, truly so grateful.
As president of the Playwrights Guild of Canada, I am honored to be here tonight to celebrate not only the awards themselves, but the art and the artists who build the worlds, characters, and action that fill our theaters across the country. First, our deepest thanks to every playwright who submitted their work this year, to those who were shortlisted, and to those whose names were called as winners. Playwriting is an act of courage, transforming silence into voice, turning questions into dialogue, and building worlds that allow us to better understand our own. Each of you has contributed something essential here tonight, and I want to also thank many others, including our presenters. Your presence here tonight is a powerful reminder that theater is never made alone. It's the product of collaboration of countless artists working together to bring stories to life. And we are thankful for all of your partnership in this work. And to our sponsors, we owe a special debt of gratitude. You not only believe in Canadian culture, but you have invested in it. And that commitment will have a long-lasting impact, not only on tonight's awards recipients, but also on the stories that we will return to years from now. To our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the Ontario Arts Council, the Toronto Arts Council, and Culture Works Canada. Your belief and support in Canadian creators is invaluable. Behind the scenes, there are so many people who make the PGC what it is today. Our board of directors, the members of our many committees and caucuses, all of you have contributed so much, and we are truly grateful for all the work you've done. A heartfelt thanks as well to the Banff Centre for their exciting new contribution this year, and also to the producers, actors, designers, playwrights, and photographers who so generously shared their production photos from premiere performances. Your generosity has allowed us to celebrate these works, not just on the page, but also in their full artistic life on stage. And of course, we are so deeply grateful for the dedicated and overworked staff at the PGC. Thank you to Sarah Duncan, Rebecca Burton, and of course our fearless leader, Nancy Morgan, and a special thanks to Mindy Griffiths, whose extraordinary efforts made this year's Tom Hendry's possible. And finally, to you, our members. You are the Guild. Every play you write affirms that this country is not just a blank page to be written by others, but is a nation with its own voice and its own soul and its own stories. You are defining what future generations of playwrights will inherit. So tonight, we close not only by celebrating the winners, but by celebrating all of you, the playwrights, the storytellers, and the ones who remind us that through story, we discover not only who we are, but who we can be.